So this is the Draper MMA to MIG converter. You can basically plug it into a MMA machine or TIG machine either. There's mine for reference. It's a Sherman 200 GD. So yeah, what you do is you plug, this is like an intermediate device, and then you've got a spool gun. So first impressions, it was quite easy to set up, so I'm happy about that. Although settings are a bit the thing is, you've got to set settings on here, MMA, and you've got to set some settings on there, and then you've got that red knob which is your wire feed, and then you've got your spool gun, which the button turns on the gas and it also feeds the wire. It took me a while to get it to weld anything half decent. That is a weld. I mean, it's not brilliant weld, but I mean, considering my skill set, which isn't great to begin with, that's not a bad weld. Bear in mind, I'm just using argon, no CO2 or anything like that, so obviously that's going to play some part in this. So I've come across a problem. It's probably my own fault, but I've already ruined the tip by welding the welded the wire to the tip, so I'm going to have to buy some new tips before I can use it anymore. But first impressions, it's doing a job. That's just solid wire, that's not flux core. Let me just open this up. Anyone who's used a spool gun probably knows what these things look like, but this is the first time I've ever had one, and I'm not really into MIG welding much, to be honest. So this is ER70S something. ER70S-6. I don't know what that means because I don't know what it means on the MIG numbers. So another problem I found is on the shaft there's this like rubber piece, but it's got this bulge, you know, like the Michelin Man where he's got the bulges for the tyres. Well, there's a bulge in there, and I was trying to push this on and it just would not go on. So what I did to get it on was take it off the shaft, push it into the reel, and then there's another circular piece of plastic that's keyed that goes in under this nut. There is this keyed to the shaft, and then you can put that in afterwards. So yeah, it doesn't actually say anything about these pieces that are in the middle in the instructions. It just says undo the nut and put the reel on, which it could have been a bit better, because those things I was trying to force it on, just leaving them on the shaft, and it wasn't working. So I pushed it into the reel, then pushed the reel onto the shaft, and it worked okay. This spooling system seems to work okay, apart from obviously when you weld the metal to the tip. I mean, the tip I would give anyone using one of these is once you finish your weld, click the trigger a little bit, so you get a bit of the wire to stick out, so it doesn't melt to the tip. Obviously I'm gonna be mindful of that next time, because I don't want to change the tips every time I get stuck, obviously. But I'm gonna need to buy some new tips, which isn't a bother anyway. They're consumables, so you know, it is what it is. This thing comes with the spool gun, comes with a lovely case. It uses mini DINS connectors. It doesn't come with an earth cable, so you have to provide your own. So mini DINS on the front, mini DINS on the rear, but what it does come with is adapters. my machine uses the larger DINS connectors, and if you look there, that's an adapter to adapt the small one to the big one. And yeah, basically plug them two into the back of this little box, and then you get your gun coming out with your switch and your gas, and then you got your wire speed there, and that's pretty much it. I think it's a neat little device, especially if you've got an MMA machine and you don't want to buy another machine to do it, and you've already got a machine rather than I know there's multi-process machines out there that will do the 3 processes, but they're not exactly cheap, and I wanted a TIG welder. I'm not a fan of MIG, but I figured for what this cost, I can add it to my thing. My primary use is going to be tacking, because that sort of thing is easier with a MIG and it's quicker usually. So that's what my primary use will be. So yeah, that's my first impressions on it. Obviously I haven't used it much, but I wanted to give people some feedback on it, on first use basically.